I was recently sitting with some other ministers talking shop, and one casually mentioned, well, I believe we're all broken people. Each of us is broken, and proceeded from there to make a longer, more eloquent point, but one that I missed entirely. I missed it because they lost me when they stated, we are all broken people. I found myself having a rather strong and physical reaction to that assertion. Broken? Who, me? We're all broken? I found myself caught up in a conversation with myself for the duration of their point, so I had really kind of tuned out. This was a colleague I respected, whose theology I would expect to mirror mine in a pretty predictable manner, and yet here they were asserting that we were all naturally, inherently broken. And I was both confounded and offended. So, as with most things that really rankle me, I tried to sit with it. I tried to sit with it and get curious about my strong reaction. What is it about being told I'm broken that threw me so much? What is it in me that feels so attached to the idea that I'm not broken? Where is that discomfort located? In my beliefs, in my body, in my being? Where does it come from? My initial defense mechanism went into theological hyperdrive. I associate brokenness with fallenness, and to suggest that we are broken is somehow a betrayal of our universalist theology. You know, that theology that tells us we are not damned and bound for hell, but in fact created out of God's infinite love, and that we are bound for heaven. We say in our baby dedications here that children are born of original blessing, not of original sin. To take it way back, the most influential thinker of American Universalism was a man by the name of Hosea Ballou, who wrote Treatise on Atonement, in which he rejects the idea that Christ died for our sins so that God could love humankind again. This would make up for the fall of Adam and Eve. Ballou stated that, in fact, Christ had died and unleashed a torrent of love upon the world, offering all of humankind a chance to be made closer to God again, and that God never stopped loving us, never stopped wanting to be close to us. Ballou's theology of universal salvation is rooted in this torrent of love, that God so loves God's creation and is so infinitely compassionate that we could never be damned for hell. It is out of this love that holds us, that surrounds us, that we find ultimate meaning. His most potent metaphor for explaining this universalist theology goes like this. Your child has fallen into the mire, and his body and his garments are defiled. You clean him and array him in clean robes. The query is, do you love your child because you washed him? Or did you love him, wash him because you loved him? Let me try that again. Do you love your child because you washed him? Or do you wash him because you loved him? So as I dug into this, as I searched for justification at my rejection of brokenness, I found no such justification here. Ballou is not suggesting that we are whole or perfect. In fact, he's saying we're bound to get dirty and make mistakes. It's just that we're all forgiven of them eventually. It's not that we are whole and perfect. That's why we go to heaven. It's that we're all good enough to go to heaven. And then I found myself rejecting the idea that I'm broken because it was assigned to me, not determined by me. Who was this person to tell me I'm broken? Only I can determine that I'm broken. The world has always told women that they're broken. The world still insists that queer people are broken. My wholeness flies in the face of these heresies. I'm not broken. I'm just as I ought to be. But to be honest, this felt superficial and spiritually immature. This colleague wasn't suggesting I'm broken because I'm a woman, and they weren't suggesting I'm broken because I'm gay. They were suggesting I'm broken because I'm human. And we're all broken. So I had to get curious again. Behind all of these defense mechanisms, what really lay at the heart of my trouble with brokenness? What was it there? And the truth that emerged, it wasn't that pretty. I didn't want to be labeled as broken because I thought broken meant weak. I didn't want to be seen as broken because I thought broken meant unwell or needy. I was invested in never claiming myself as broken because I believed I wouldn't be perceived as strong enough. And so there I was, having uncovered a deep trench of lies in my own belief system, because none of those things is true. These are the kinds of lies that crop up in the gardens of our lives, that have to be incessantly weeded out because we are programmed to believe them. Behind these lies are myths, myths about rugged American individualism, that strength is about never needing anyone or anything, never requesting help or admitting to our shortcomings, myths that tell us that strength is about white knuckling our way through our lives in isolation. These weeds, they obscure the truth that our nature is to be dependent, to be connected, that our happiness is intertwined with being known, and not in isolation, but in community, where we can receive help, acknowledge our need for friends, and embody our seventh principle, the one we light our first candle for each week. Also in those lies and myths I was telling myself are long-held prejudices about what it means to be strong, and equating it with bodies and minds that perform without assistance or trouble or confusion, ableist myths that tell us that being broken physically or mentally means being diminished, means lesser than. And again, these myths obscure the truth that there exists strains and qualities of strength and explosive imagination in disabled communities that far exceeds my limited vocabulary or understanding. So here I was, faced with the fact that my resistance to being seen as broken, to embracing brokenness, was rooted in myths and lies. There was no theology to support it, no concept of self that defends it. I had to find ways to see myself as broken. And since I was still getting comfortable with this word, I used its cousin, imperfect. And of course, we are all imperfect. We fail all the time. We say the wrong things. We don't show up when we're needed. We avoid things and we hurt the ones we love. We have road rage. We burn the chicken. Of course, we're imperfect, perfectly imperfect. We are destined to get dirty, as Hosea Ballou suggested all those years ago. We are destined to be in the muck and the mire, and yet we still get washed clean. And as the list of imperfections grew, it expanded until I heard a drumbeat underneath it all, a foundation of truth that told me, we are broken because the world is broken. We are broken because we are surrounded by violence and pain and bigotry. We are estranged from one another. We are suspicious of the stranger and scared all the time. Of course, we are broken. The language we speak, the air we breathe, the water we swim in, that of white supremacy, it breaks us. It robs us of our humanity, and I know that my joy is not true joy. My peace of mind is not true peace, not until we are free of this scourge. For we are all broken until then. So this is the lesson that Unitarian Universalism teaches me over and over and over again. The lesson that calls me home each time I feel faced with a choice that feels binary. A choice that feels like a zero-sum game. Accept this brokenness and lose your wholeness. Unitarian Universalism tells us we can be multiple things at once. We are broken and we are whole. We are healing. Jake read to us the words of Roshani Rea, which tell us of the interconnected process of being broken and whole and healing. There is a brokenness out of which comes the unbroken. There is a sorrow beyond all grief, which leads to joy. In our denomination's recent report on how we can work within ourselves and our institutions to heal from white supremacy, Reverend Sophia Betancourt lifts the words of one of our youth, Paloma Callow. Paloma describes us as a whole, healing, broken people. Also a whole, healing, and broken faith, and as a whole, healing, broken world. And she asks, so how do I inherit this brokenness with grace? The words of Paloma remind me of the wisdom of James Baldwin, who said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. As a person, as a faith, and as a world, we cannot attempt to heal, to find the wholeness that comes after the brokenness without first accepting the truth that we are broken. To inherit this brokenness with grace is to name it and then to claim it. It has purpose and it has beauty and it has the potential to teach us, to show us the lies we've swallowed whole, to admit to the hurt that simmers in all of us under the surface. Like the time for all ages that Julie shared with us today, brokenness allows for water to reach the seeds and flowers to bloom. Brokenness allows us to heal over ourselves with gold, made stronger in the process of repair, allowing us to see the wonder in our own humanity. One of you recently told me that when you were at your most broken, you felt a profound sense of connection with others. That being broken allows you to access a well of empathy that was previously untapped. You see the humanity in all, and compassion blooms anew in us for the ways in which we are each privately struggling, privately broken. So seeing myself, coming to see myself as broken has been demanding of my spirit. It has asked that I soulfully take stock of where I've stumbled and failed, where I have not lived into my values, where I have lied to myself and to others. But as Hosea Ballou tells us, we are bound to get mired in the muck, but we will always be loved again. We are always invited to repair and to heal our cracks with gold. And in the ever-loving truth of this faith, we are a living tradition, one that changes its mind, one that learns from the past and names what needs to change. As Unitarian Universalists, we strive each day to do that which is asked of us by Paloma, to be whole, healing, and broken, and to do so with grace. May these words send you forth today, asking of yourself, what is broken in me? What is healing in me? What is whole in me? May you find in yourself grace to accept those truths. And may you work towards a world that is honest and real, where we are not broken by the evils we do unto one another. And may you find the gold in your cracks today and all days. Blessed be, and amen.
Hi, I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi.
And I'm Reverend Abby Tennis. We are the ministers at the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia, where our mission is to awaken love and justice in our lives and in the world.
We're so grateful that you watched, and we hope that the sermon connected with your soul.
We also want to invite you to join us for a live worship service every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can always find the link to that service on our website at www.philauu.org. In these services, you'll hear words like you've just heard, and you also get a chance to greet one another, pray together, sing together, and we even hold a virtual coffee hour after services to get a chance to greet some new and old friends.
If you want to support the mission of this community and you feel moved to give, you can do so by going to the website that Reverend Abby just mentioned. You can find that link below, or you can text 215-709-5095 and follow the prompts to give.
If someone in your life needs to hear these words today, we encourage you to share this video. And again, thank you so much for watching.
We hope to see you soon.